I was reading the encyclopedia because I'm trying to invest time and effort into understanding Hegel so that I might produce better videos, so that they might become more successful. And in probably November 2017, I had not discovered Hegel yet. I was on an intellectual path towards paganism, and I envisioned a view of paganism as the image of a seed that would grow with the stem and the leaves, and the roots would go into the earth to get the nutrients, and the stem would develop into a trunk, and the leaves into branches with larger leaves eventually, and the tree would be born and would develop and would produce a fruit through the stimulation of the light of the sun, and the fruit would be pleasant to eat, and it would contain within itself another seed which would produce the same process. And for me, that was the view that I had of paganism. Paganism was the European religion. This was the roots, and the trunk was gathering knowledge, basically. And by reading books, and I don't exactly remember, the sun was probably the intuition that you had to follow, so that was a process. And I remember thinking, the Anglo-Saxon mind, which now I would call der Verstand, but back then I had no knowledge of Hegel terminology, der Verstand, or the understanding, the Anglo-Saxon, when he sees a tree, in my view, he thought, okay, we will cut the trunk, send it into a sawmill, and try to make a profit by selling chopped wood. That's how, in my view, the Anglo-Saxon reasoned. But the problem is that if you chop the trunk, you will have no fruits and no seed to produce other trees. So that would stop the process eventually. That's the view that I had. So I'm telling this anecdote because more than 4 years, almost 4.5 years later, with much more knowledge, experience, development, I understand that basically this is the image of Hegel's philosophy. Hegel's philosophy is a seed with roots, a stem, which develops into a trunk, branches, leaves, with the earth, the rain, the water, the temperature of the climate, the light of the sun, the photosynthesis, which eventually produces a fruit which contains the seed. So it's the entire process of life. But Hegel uses very complicated terminology to explain basic wisdom, and I can only repeat what I said in some of my previous videos, that when I discovered Hegel, I rejected my own personal experience and I tried to shape and structure my mind onto Hegel. But I discarded and discredited my own experience. Because Hegel says that the individual is worthless, and I expected, the more I learned to understand Hegel, the more I say, okay, I can expect everything from Hegel, but I never expected him to deceive. I mean, to manipulate, yes, but I never thought that he could lie And I suspect him of lying when he says that the experience of the individual is worthless, because without my own personal singular empirical experience, I could never have come to understand broadly Hegel. So, yeah.